Hi guys, welcome back to my channel as promised, but not on time. I'm bringing you this video to share the footage and the pictures that I got from the Blackout Black Friday Black Lives Matter protest that happened on Black Friday, obviously. So I want to make this part just as short as possible because I have, I believe, 30 or more pictures and videos. So that's gonna take up a lot of this video, but so just to give a real account of what happened that day, I really wanted to go, and as you guys all know, I struggle with social anxiety, so for me it was like a mental battle, I would say. So I shared the Facebook invite link, and I'm like, in like the morning of, because I didn't have to work that day, and I was like, oh, who's really going? Because I want to go, but I don't want to go by myself, because I'm like, A, I don't want to go by myself because I don't know no one there. B, I have no idea what's going to happen. And C, I don't take public transportation. And anyone traveling into a downtown area of a major city know that you don't just drive there in the middle of the day, especially not downtown Seattle. There's nowhere to park, and if you're going to pay for parking, it's going to be like $50 to pay to have your car be parked there for however long you want to be parked there during the day, during a weekday. So, no one replied to me, and I was like, I guess I'm not going. And then so like I'm in the shower or whatever, listen to music, I'm bored, whatever. And then so I get out the shower, and then I would have a message from my cousin, who's actually like really involved in like Black Lives Matter, not exactly the chapter in Seattle, but a lot of advocacy and all that type of stuff. And she's like, well, hey, we can work something out for us to go. And so we did that. And so I met her downtown, outside of downtown, in an area where we could park, and we took the train up to where the protest was. Automatically, I knew before getting out of the train station it's going to be packed with police, because I can see them getting ready in the train station. I see the vehicles down in the transit spots that we passed by to get off the train. And so I knew it was going to be very police heavy, and I'm just like, ugh, our tax dollars at work. So we get to the protest after looking for it, because it wasn't where they said it was going to be, but it's neither here nor there. One thing that I experienced right off the bat was an overwhelming experience of just overwhelmed, just period point blank. When I got there were a lot of what we would call allies there, so non-black people there. And then I have to remind myself where I live. I live in Seattle, so I live in probably one of the most liberal places in America, period. And that's all I can say about that. They always come out, all the white people came out support. There was, I don't know exactly what they're called, but some Filipino group was there. There were a lot of white people there, old, young, people who have their children out there. There's obviously black people there, but just a lot of allies were there. And for me, that was very overwhelming, because if you're like me and you're always on social media, you get this kind of us versus them type of display. And usually, well, in my experience with posting articles or some status people have shared or tweets or whatever, I haven't really got a very big support system from non-black people. And so I guess for me, I did not realize that we had that many allies. Now, our protest was quite small compared to some of the other protests that happened around the country. I believe we peaked around 700 to 800 people. I know Chicago was above 2,000 people. And so we were quite, I would say, in a medium type range of how many people were there. So it was very kind of unified, kind of not for the first period of time before we marched on towards the Christmas tree. We were shouting, we were, I'm sorry, I'm holding this. I have something to do with my hands. We were, chanting certain things, whose lives matter, Black Lives Matter. Just a lot of different things. You'll see that in the video, catching some of that. And there was a certain point where some of the protesters had gotten into the Forever 21, that's downtown Seattle, and I was like, oh Lord, this is what I did not want to happen. I do not want us to go inside establishments because that just looks bad. And it also is kind of like disruptive and not on plan, but we got them out. People that were in there can come out. And so yeah, so after that we did eventually start marching towards the Christmas tree, and that's where we were met with the barricade of police on their bicycles or whatever, and you'll see that as well. I actually got separated from my cousin because she was like running, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. Like the bikes came out of nowhere, and so I was like, I'm over here by myself. But we stood our ground. We didn't, get violent or taunt or anything. People were actually angry, but they were asking questions like, what's the legal basis for you actually, blocking us from going to that side of the street, or what may have you. At one point, police in riot gear came out. I have that on camera as well. And the chant started happening. Take off your riot gear. There's no riot here. So that happened. And then there were some police that had their pepper spray ready to go in their hands. And I'm just like, no one's being violent. And no one's being obscenely disruptive. And so I didn't understand. Well, I understand to an extent of why they would have that ready to go when there's nothing really, popping off, in the words of President Obama and every other black person in America. But yeah, and so eventually the people that were in the riot gear, they eventually left, and eventually the barricade of bicycles and police actually did move, so we actually got towards where the Christmas tree lighting was going to be and all of that. It was my understanding that they didn't want us over there because last year some protesters had rushed the stage of what was going on. I don't know what they were calling it, but there was musicians and stuff there. And actually I said to my cousin, at one point I was just like, you know what, I hate to disrupt all of the art going on. However, I don't care. I explained it in talking with my therapist, who's a white woman, and we've been talking about what it is like to be a black woman in today's world, especially as me as an individual. And I'm just like, I hate that. Well, I don't hate. I was aware of the fact that we were causing an inconvenience to people that did not participate in the protests and were there to enjoy the festivities of the holidays and all that. But at the end of the day, I don't care, because Tamir Rice will never have a Christmas with his mother ever again. There are plenty. Mike Brown will never have a Christmas with his family again, So to say that you're upset that we're here when there are lives being lost, and there's mothers and sisters and brothers and aunts and uncles and cousins and wives and husbands and friends that will never have their family member to enjoy this with ever again. So for you to be upset, I give zero fucks, about your feelings about me being here protesting for Black Lives Matter. So with that being said, and we did, I believe, I didn't see the footage, we blocked the Christmas tree lighting for the camera, and so what happened was we got a hold of balloons. I have no idea how we got a hold of all these balloons, but they brought balloons, and so at the time of the Christmas tree lighting, they count down or what may have you, and they let the balloons go when the Christmas tree was lighting. So we were definitely a presence. We definitely were heard. There's definitely much more that needs to be done. I will say, if I remember correctly, there were 2 people arrested at the protest, minor property damage, and 1 police officer had to go to the hospital for dislocated shoulder. I'm not exactly sure what happened to have that officer. I don't know how he got sort of dislocated. I have no idea. one people that were actually arrested was actually, I saw my friend that I used to work with, and I was like, I saw him in the train station. I was like, what's going on? I haven't seen you in months. You're here. And I know for him, we always talked about social justice whenever we were together, and so it wasn't surprising for me to see him. He is white. He's like one of the people that he's a very hippie-like person, but a very educated, mindful, hippie-type person. So it didn't really surprise me that he would be there. And we had a nice conversation on the train back about, how do we actually fix it besides protesting? And that could be a discussion we have for a different day, but this is already running longer than I thought it was. But I'm going to go into showing you the footage and the pictures. I will possibly just keep it in the order in which that I took it. Hopefully it's on my computer that way. If not, it's just going to be a jumbled whatever, and it's going to just all be there. So thank you for watching again, as always, and I love you guys. Bye.
You're protecting a whole system that actually needs the police as part of their whole apparatus and the way they function. We need to end police brutality and end police murder.
Do you want to help carry the banner? I know they're rolling.
Seattle PD rolling in today, huh? They rolling in deep today. Rolled in deep. All my tax dollars, they ain't even doing nothing.
These racist cops have got to go. Hey, hey. These racist cops have got to go. Hey, hey. Whose lives matter?
Black lives matter.
Whose lives matter?
Black lives matter.
How do I do over? How do I get this?
Whose lives matter? Black lives matter. Whose lives matter? Black lives matter.
Whose lives matter?
Black lives matter.
Whose lives matter?
Black lives matter.
Whose lives matter?
Black lives matter.
Whose lives matter?
Black lives matter.
Whose lives matter?
Black lives matter.
Whose lives matter?
Black lives matter.
Whose lives matter?
Take off your riot gear. I don't see no riot here.
Take off your riot gear.
I don't see no riot here.
Take off your riot gear.
I don't see no riot here.
Take off your riot gear.
I don't see no riot here.
Take off your riot gear.
I don't see no riot here.
Take off your riot gear.
Matter. Whose lives matter? Black lives 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 matter. Black lives matter. Black lives matter. Black lives matter. Black is not a crime.
Same story every time.
Being black is not a crime.
Same story every time.
Being black is not a crime.
Same story every time.
Being black is not a crime.
Same story every time.
Being black is not a crime.
Same story every time.
Being black is not a crime.
Same story every time.
Being black is not a crime.
Same story every time.
Being black is not a crime. Black lives matter. 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 Black lives matter.
Thank you all for coming out and happy holidays.
Merry Christmas, happy holidays.